Let's take a look at one of the AI cloud providers, Coreweave, currently down a little bit in pre-market. Let's have a look at the price action in general and see what we can make of it. So, as we often do, we're going to draw in a parallel channel here, connecting the highs with the lows. And there's different ways we could draw this channel. We could, take this wick down here. I think it's more reasonable to look up here to where you've had previously a lot of support and resistance. It looked like the stock was respecting this particular level, but there's a little bit of flexibility on that, so we may choose to put a downside target a bit lower, but it's clear to me that Coreweave is in a downtrend right now, and this gives us pretty clear targets for what we can expect from the stock. On the upside, we would have to retest the top of the channel, which right now sits around $112 or so, or around a 23% move from here. Of course, the most likely scenario, if we did get up to that level, would have to be that we're going to sell off from there. We've rejected multiple times. It's essentially acting as a brick wall for price. And notice we did not even manage to reach the top of the parallel channel before selling off previously. So that's a little bit bearish. Suggests that buyers have maybe run out of strength and sellers are potentially a bit more in control at this point. So with that being said, what is the downside target on the parallel channel? It's around $40 or so, which is quite low. Now you'll notice we have put in a lot of lows around this level here, $65, a very strong level in the past, very much support for the stock as it was previously resistance back during the IPO and eventually managed to break out from there. But you would expect us to perhaps get down here and see if the stock can hold this level. I would imagine the more times you're hitting it, the weaker it becomes, and it's possible you would break through it on the next attempt. Of course, you may still get another bounce at the $65 level, but just something to keep in mind, the more times we get down here, and to be fair, the same on the upside, the more times you get up to the top of the parallel channel, the more likely it is to be able to break through. But I'm favoring very much the bearish look at the moment. Of course, if we did get down to this sort of $40 level and even lower perhaps, I would imagine that would be a good place to get a bounce. Again, we can also redraw the parallel just so you can have all outcomes here, all possibilities, and in that case, the lower target could be as low as $30 if you have a bit of a more pessimistic view of how this parallel channel should be looking. And it's also worth noting we may even find some kind of a double bottom around these previous levels that the stock traded to. That would be around $35. So you may even look for some kind of confluence there. Perhaps, perhaps with this particular version of the parallel, you could get down there in March, and that would be extremely good confluence to get a good bounce on the stock. Not saying that's going to happen by any means. That would be quite a massive down move in quite a short amount of time, but not impossible, just some things to consider. But these would be my levels that I would be looking at on the stock. If you're talking about upside, well, you would first need to break out of the channel. If you can do that and successfully hold it, then you're looking at potentially breaking the all-time high from before and heading a lot higher. But that's a lot of ifs. Things have to happen before we are favoring the bullish case. And I can show you the trend indicator. There's not that much information going back, but we can still say that the stock is in a bearish regime. It doesn't look too bad. The momentum does not look extremely terrible to the downside since you're trading near the EMAs. So that's something to keep in mind. If we do see prolonged downside, then this indicator is going to curve down as well, and it's not going to look too great. Likewise, though, we're at a bit of a decision point. It's not impossible that you could head back up on this particular name, but that's just how it's looking from a trend and momentum perspective. Pretty bearish, but not a completely hopeless situation necessarily. But yes, definitely overall, we are favoring the bearish look on this particular stock, and as I said, $65 and I think $35 would be good medium-term targets to have on the stock. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope that video is helpful. Subscribe as always for more charts every day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.